Okay, in this problem we're asked to find the Z parameters for the network shown below. Once we find the parameters, we want to compute the current in a 4 ohm load if a 12 at angle 0 voltage source is connected to the input port. So here's our 2-port, here's the ports label, here are the Z parameters. And the way we'll do this, for instance, is we'll go in and set I2 equal to 0, and that'll allow us to find Z11 and Z12. Then we'll set I1 equal to 0, and that'll allow us to find Z12 and Z22. So let's start off with I2 equal to 0. Now I2 equal to 0 is really an open circuit. So if we look at that circuit with I2 equal to 0, we can see that this is an open circuit. So now it's just some basic circuit analysis. If we look, this is the current I1. So now the voltage across here is 12 I1. The voltage across here is 6 I1. So then V1 is 12 plus 6 I1, which is 18 I1. So then that tells us Z11, which is V1 over I1, is 18 ohms. And then if we do KVL around this loop, tells us that V2 is 6 I1. So then Z21, which is V2 divided by I1, is 6 ohms. So that completes the calculation of Z11 and Z21. So we set I2 equal to 0, and that allowed us to find these two. Now we're going to set I1 equal to 0, and that allows us to find these other two parameters. And here is our circuit. So now, with I1 equal to 0, we can see there's an open circuit. So now if we look, current I2 flows through the 6 ohm, and here we have 3 I2, and that voltage is 6 I2. So now V2 is 6 plus 3 I2, which is 9 I2. Okay, so Z22 then is V2 over I2, which is 9 ohms. And then applying KVL around this loop, V1 is 6 I2. So then Z12 is V1 over I2, which is 6 ohms. So then our Z parameters for this circuit are 18, 6, 6, and 9. So now that concludes the first part of our calculation. Now we were asked to connect a 4 ohm load out to the second port and a 12 at angle 0 voltage to the input port. Here's our circuit, and now we're asked to say, well, we got a 4 ohm load out at this port, a 12 at angle 0 voltage source here, and now we want to calculate the current I2. So if we look, the terminal condition over here, V2 is minus 4 times I2. All right, and if we look over here, V1 is 12 at angle of 0. So now let's begin to look at our terminal conditions. For instance, let's take now and substitute this into this equation. So I'd have minus 4I2 is 6I1 plus 9I2. So now we have 6I1 is minus 13I2, or that I1 is minus 13 over 6I2. Okay, now we can substitute that in to this equation. Okay, so now we have 12 at an angle of 0 is 18 times minus 13 over 6 times I2 plus 6I2. And if we cancel out, this is 3, so this becomes minus 33I2. So then I2 becomes minus 12 at an angle of 0 over 33, which is minus 0.3636 at an angle of 0 degrees amps.